And now here comes Luke Combs' cover of Tracy Chapman's song, but it's causing much debate. See what you think. Country music star Luke Combs has topped the country music charts with a cover of Tracy Chapman's song, Fast Car. But decades prior, as a Black queer woman, Chapman would have almost zero chance of that achievement herself in country music. Musicians of color in country music. The numbers remain bleak. Recent study by data journalist Jan Deem and musicologist Jada Watson reported that fewer than 0.5% of songs played on country radio in 2022 were by women of color and LGBTQ+ artists. Watson's previous work shows that songs by women of color and LGBTQ+ artists were largely excluded from radio playlists for most of the 2 decades prior. Washington Post with the reporting, Emily Yar doing the legwork here. Similar pattern has existed in country music for years, said Tanner Davenport, a Nashville native, co-director of the Black Opry. White country singers struck gold this past decade, releasing songs heavily influenced by R&B and hip hop, but few Black artists are even signed to major Nashville labels. I wonder why. The immediate success of Combs' Fast Car, Davenport said, kind of just proves that when you put a white face on Black art, it seems to be consumed a lot easier. And we should tell you, this is nothing new. In the past, artists like Pat Boone, Elvis Presley, they established, if you will, their careers with covers of songs made by Black artists like Fats Domino and Big Mama Thornton, respectively. And look at the legacy that lives on. Despite this, Chapman was gracious about the cover. I never expected to find myself on the country charts, but I'm honored to be there. I'm happy for Luke and his success and grateful that new fans have found and embraced Fast Car. Very diplomatic she's been. I don't know what other way she could be. The Washington Post has said what perhaps others, many even, feel about this. You weigh in first, Jeff.
So this might be a situation where multiple things are true at the same time. Yes, we know that many white artists take Black work and make themselves famous for it when those Black artists couldn't have made it into industry for themselves because of how they look. Now, Tracy Chapman's song was big and famous in its time. I think it was a folk song. I think it's pretty much considered a folk song in its genre. For Luke Combs to take it, not change anything about it, and then make it a country song is a little fishy and does have some remnants of racism in and of itself. With that said, I do want to add some details and nuance. Some Black artists have taken white songs and made them famous as well. However, they changed a lot about those songs. One of the things I have in mind was Dolly Parton, I Will Always Love You. Whitney Houston took that and dominated everything about it. So yeah, Luke Combs, a little bit of racism, but it's going the other way also.
Yeah, and in the way it's being received, there are so many talented artists, and to learn that this is 2023. And as we reported from the Washington Post, not many are signed to these Nashville record companies. And by the way, Dolly Parton made about $10 million off of her royalties. And she praised Whitney Houston. And then she took the money and she said, I'm gonna give back to the Black community in some way. And she bought an office building in the heart of Black Nashville and called it the house that Whitney built, because Dolly Parton's a real one and an ally. But I do think that it's undeniable, and it's not necessarily calling out Combs, but it's undeniable that what changed a white face instead of a queer Black woman who's a tremendous artist.
Absolutely.
She's a tremendous artist. I love her. I'm gonna download the song again. But she's gonna get paid from this. She's been gracious and decent about it. But you wonder, because it's gonna take perhaps country music to take a good look at itself, and it's a very insulated core group with not much diversity. They'll have to change if they want to, but they're very protective, it seems, of what's going on in Nashville and the genre overall. I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I do want to clarify. I'm not saying what Luke Combs did was racist. He took a dope song, decided to sing it because the song is incredible. Tracy Chapman is incredible. But the fact that it made it the same song, the exact same way, didn't rearrange anything, and made it to the country charts, that has some little remnants of racism that I don't really like.
I think you're exactly right. And I was thinking that I saw, I think it was Kerry Washington something over the weekend. And I thought about it. There's so many great Black actresses who have not received Oscars or nominations or recognition mainstream. I was watching a movie, I believe it was a Will Packer movie on a plane recently, Girls Trip. And it's a fun comedy, of course. But it reminded me that there's so many who we love. We love them. And when it comes to mainstream, they're not getting their due. Maybe one or two will squeak through. Remember Hallie's acceptance speech? And it just makes me sad because at the end of the day, we all just want to be appreciated for good work, and money can't solve all of that. So even though we know Tracy's going to get paid, it does seem to me that it takes us and it makes us feel less than at times. If you're a person of color, you just want your due. You just want your due.